Hi, I'm Susan Lipp, Editor-in-Chief of Trust and Estates. I'm here this afternoon with Hartley Goldstone, who is author of the book Trustworthy, New Angles on Trust from Beneficiaries and Trustees. And Hartley also writes a column for us, the Positive Story Project, which focuses on the good relationship between trustees and beneficiaries. Hartley, so you really focus on the positive stories.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you focus on the positive stories, and what's next for you now that your book is finished? What's next on the horizon?
Sure. Okay, great. Why positive stories? First, why stories at all? And I found with clients that, well, the research would show that we learn best through stories, most of us. And so when asked a question, a lot of times if quite often I'd be asked, well, what do other families do when a sensitive topic comes up? And quite often the best way to answer that would be to tell a story of what other families do.
Right.
So we started collecting stories, and as you mentioned, culminating in the book. And the reason we chose positive stories, and probably the most common question these days, is why don't you include the disaster stories? We can certainly learn from disasters, and we can. But my feeling is that if we can see what other people are doing when they're doing it really well, it can be aspirational. It can give us ideas that maybe wouldn't have been triggered otherwise. So I guess the way I view it is we're riding along in a car, and I told this little story in a column recently, but we're riding along in a car, and we go off into a ditch, and we get out of the ditch. Maybe a tow truck comes, maybe we figure out how to get out of a ditch, and chances are next time we're driving along and there's a ditch, either we're going to have learned how not to go into it, or if we do, how to get out of it more quickly. But basically we're still on the same road. We've been returned, by solving the problem, we've returned to some sort of status quo. Well, I wanted people to think more about a different trajectory, get off that status quo, and see if they can maybe take flight. And so where do we get those ideas from? It's from seeing what other people have experienced when things have gone really well, and that's why we do positive stories. You asked what's next. Well, we took a break from collecting the stories, and probably after we've started collecting them again. Probably we'll start publishing some of them again after the first of the year. So I invite any of you out there who might have a great story, give me a call, and we'll see where it goes.
Okay, well, get those stories into Hartley, and to read his columns, just go to trustandestates.com.